Perfect! I know that ability to achieve the purpose of life. Therefore, I demand myself to facilitate that first day, and I hear now from the rest of the text. Second, I realize that dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reach themselves out of this class. To gradually transform themselves into reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily about the actions and words I try to drop. Thereby create my mind to attention to that person. Third, I know it's good to well as good as any desire that consistently holds my mind will eventually succeed on capacity. Therefore, I will go 10 minutes here and examine myself and know self-confidence. Fourth, I have clearly written down the steps to my destiny in life, and I will never stop trying. It does not stop. Towards David. Fifth, I fully realize no help to the walking door, and I still want to reach justice. Therefore, I will take no satisfaction of anything else I say. I will see my action myself for the cooperation of other people. I will do so as a routine because of my relationship to God. I will eliminate hatred, envy, selfish citizens. I know myself for all humanity, and I will hate that towards others and never be contempt. I will not those who believe in me, because I believe in them and myself. I will not make this formula, commit to memory, and repeat it out one day, with the whole base of gratitude for the next. I will come sometime to the purpose. Hurrah! This is the 12-step formula of standard goods, when followed from practice in a positive environment, guarantees 24+ satisfaction gradually, and unprecedented personal growth and achievement. 1. I dedicate 1 hour a day to the ability to protect my self-confidence. 2. I practice and internalize my self skills for a minimum of 1 hour each day. 3. I contact my therapist with my health, my phone, and every person, and my email quarterly. 4. I make 100 plus contacts per week. 5. I follow all my qualified meetings daily. 6. I set 5 plus 2 1 routine prior to selling. 7. I consider to all kinds of hundreds of my ones. 8. I was going to take a list of things. 9. I call myself as weekly responsible for everything to my respect. 10. I sell 75% of my members in inventory. 11. I return every second call and contact every buyer who is 2 hours a week hard. 12. I order with highly qualified buyers to renew all my unfortunately. And try to buy a broker agreement. For a more condition, less time, less than expect. I think I suggest something to stack and all of this farm. Therefore, I commit to all here and get to all of them success. Now is the voice. Now is the voice. I will lead, not fall. I will lead, not fall. I will believe, not doubt. I will believe, not doubt. I will create, not destroy. I will create, not destroy. I am a force for good. I am a force for good. I am a leader. I am a leader. Defy the odds. Defy the odds. Set in his stand. Set in his stand. Step up. Step up. Step up. Step up. Step up. Step up. My abilities to succeed. I get stronger with every step. I have different situations. My confidence, faith, sense of integrity. I always have that thought. I take that care of my body. I start every day with my integrity. I am task-oriented. I stay clear from every daily. I know what I want to get it. I attract and enjoy greater financial outcomes each day. My vanity gives me a latest financial status. I think prosperous thoughts. I am prosperous. I am my money wisely. I profit every day. Getting cash is easy for me. I'm easy to start each day. I enjoy being debt-free. I exercise daily. I enjoy helping my clients succeed. I help live. I'm a real estate expert. That's why I expect you to be the real estate expert. I'm a professional. I'm financially independent. I earn commission to ease on the others. I have solutions. Prospecting is good for my business. I call it fire to sell others. Prospecting is easy for me. I enjoy following my life. People are attracted by enthusiasm. I use technology to succeed. I get mentally stronger with every call I make. I'm an outstanding salesperson. I'm a powerful agent. I know how to succeed. I keep positive, exciting, productive thoughts fired at all times. Yes! to the morning. Josh, thank you so much for pulling me out of that.
Thanks for pulling me up there.
Well, it's I greatly appreciate it. I was seeing little butterflies out there. So I was going to pass out for a second, going into a coughing attack. So thank you very much. I know it was on the spot. You need a new book. You need a new book. So, look, any wins, gratitudes, victories?
I have a buyer that was struggling to get qualified a couple of months ago, and I referred him to one of my lenders, and they've been working with him. And he refinanced one of his cars, and he got qualified last week on Friday. They called me on Sunday. We found a property Monday.
Wow.
And hopefully we go under contract today.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
And they were very thankful that I kept following up with them.
Isn't
and I
that
referred
great?
to a lender. They were really happy. They worked 2 jobs and they finally got qualified after 2 years.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's what makes this all worthwhile, huh?
Yes.
You get those people to have a high gratitude.
That's
I
great.
love it. Brenda Lee.
I have to second that. The follow-up is key. When I first
Yeah.
joined Century 21, I was at Coldwell Banker, and I got called, I don't know how many times. The last phone call was from George Q. Morris.
Closer.
He's a closer. I'm like, okay, I'll come.
Right.
I sat down with John Syatt. This was way back when they did all of that. And I'm like, yes, I am. But the
Yeah.
first time I came and did all of this stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I got myself into?
It's a little
But-
strange at first, but you really learn to love it.
Yep.
I love it.
So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for follow-up and persistence and consistency.
75 to 80% of our business will be done from follow-up.
Yep.
Anybody else? Scott?
My in-laws own 3 acres of land in Park City, and it's residential, recreational, and they want to sell.
Love it.
Go.
Plus you're having your first closing here pretty quick.
Closing this week.
So good job.
Congrats.
That's awesome, huh? Anything else? Any other wins, victories, gratitudes? All right then, George Morris, you're
Great.
right.
Hey, so I'm going to turn my time over to Rob here in just a few minutes. I've got to be on a conference call, but I was just going to say, I think you mentioned, if you didn't, maybe I was in my own little world. The summit is today, if you weren't aware of that, right?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Did you mention that?
No,
I don't know if
I
you did or
totally,
didn't.
totally. I was telling Rob that we got to go through the announcements, and I didn't do any
Yeah.
of them, George. So,
And there's Toastmasters tomorrow at 1 p.m.
yeah, thank you.
It's always interesting to see someone like Josh up here, like totally excited when they're up there being pulled up like that. It's good. It's good. I'm excited to watch my daughter today be
Yes.
like even like just bringing it, I guess she gave her talk yesterday to my wife, so we'll see how it is, Toby. I said, was it good? I'm serious. I said, or boring. And I said that, and she's like, I can't believe you said that. I'm like, well, I don't know. So,
That sounds like you.
yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. I'm actually kind of excited. I mean, it's all a little too late. Josh asked Jeremy, said, should I not have had my daughter
It's too
speak?
late
Is that?
for a second.
And he's all, that's a little late to be asking this question. And like every poster, and you know, she's been on, and I thought, well, I'm like, yeah, I think it's all right, right? I mean, I don't think it's nepotism to put you on the stage of a summit. Usually that's actually punishment for most people. So anyway, all right. So my hot topic has been this, and it'll be here's just a little feeder into today's summit, and that is that if you look at all of these pillars that we each work off of, so we look at our health, we look at our relationships, and I want to just point out just I want to point out 5 of these, not just a hand, or I guess it is a handful, but 5 of them. I just want the relationship with yourself, right? Working on yourself, you know, the communication with yourself. Number 2, with let's just I'll put up here your spiritual relationship. Next would be your intimate relationship. Number 4, if you have them, your children, or if you don't have them, ones. And then I always put this one, everyone else. That could include from friends to extended family. Could be even your parents. It could be everybody. And so then the other pillar, of course, is money. And there's always 2 ingredients that I'm looking for in regards to money. And the first one is your ability, especially in this business that we're in, the ability to create cash flow. And then the second in our lives is to be able to build assets that, in so many words, create cash flow, right? So, and then if I didn't do this, but since I'm breaking them down on regards to health, I'm going to look at my vitality. Another word I might put up here is just simply my energy level and the requirement of energy that it takes to just to succeed in life, right? Just to wake up. And then the second is for me is my health, but I'm really looking at let's just say the physical side. So the energy and then the physical, right? I mean, that could be just as simple as your appearance to then, you could be someone who has a high level of energy but highly overweight. And look, whenever I talk about these things, like, whenever I have these conversations and, people will talk and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said this and he said that. My point is that I don't know of anybody who doesn't, I don't think anyone woke up in their optimal point of life and said, I'm committed to being overweight and having low energy. It's not right, or I'm committed to a really bad cash flow and I'm not really interested in building any assets. And frankly, I don't really care about any of these things. And if I do, the only one I care about is me. And that's not even how we're wired, right? Our wiring is that, as I've said, I said on a little Instagram thing, every single info commercial that we can pay attention to and that we see on a TV or anywhere, any advertisement, any little banner that pops up on the internet, as a general statement, it's dealing with one of these three things constantly, right? From the little cartoons you see that come up as banners, or of course, you're being tracked and watched. So, my favorite thing is when I first started realizing this, I was on a trip with Rick Davidson, and someone said that you realize you're being listened to. And so we had this big conversation about Glacier National Park, and we kept repeating Glacier, 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 Glacier National Park, Glacier National Park. And then, of course, I'm not exaggerating, within the hour, vacations to Whitehorse, vacations to Glacier National Park. So you're being listened to, if you didn't know that, Timbra, right?
Stop saying it over and over, all of our phones.
I know, now they're going to have Glacier. Now when Glacier National Park comes up on your phone, Jeff, you have your phone on yet?
No.
Oh, well, then you're not going to get any vacation ideas. All right? So my point is that, look, so all these things. Now let's talk about the other key thing that I watch. The one thing that I can say that Everest itself, the organization, the company has taught me, it is this one thing, and it would be good to write this, and that is the fire, the heat, the inferno that occurs to do this one thing, to refine our lives. I just want to remind you that what most people do is that when the heat of creating doesn't matter which one, but let's just say ourselves. The heat of creating the right relationship with ourselves, or health is a real easy one. We'll use what I call vents. And the vents are things like this. I want you to think about the air conditioner. And vents are like this. I got this one deal. I got so many things happening. I got an email, and I got a text, and I got to send my paperwork. And this morning, I can't prospect. Or you'll vent by, all of a sudden, you'll start making a tremendous amount of money, and then you'll stop prospecting. Or what's even worse yet is the heat and the battle of making no money. You'll then escape with things like pornography, alcohol, drugs, and abusive behavior. You'll do all sorts of stupid things. We all do. Because the thing is that human nature, because it is brutal, and because it is ruthless, and because it will bring you literally, if you would say, to your knees, it will require of you essentially everything. And then there is a group of people that when they're looking at the chocolate shake, instead of saying, I deserve this, they go, no. And again, I can sit there and say to anybody that we all go through these cycles and all through these moments where we will use vents. And the thing is that, I mean, you could say, hey, I feel so great and I kind of escape from the world when I ride my Harley. Or when I go to a movie and live in this fantasy land of Marvel comics or whatever, right? Or you go and you say, man, I need to go on a vacation to escape. Or then you get really crazy. You go to Vegas and you get real crazy and you like act like you're a teenager again. I get it. But the thing that is challenging is that, in the words of Mel Robbins, when you were a kid, in fact, I really believe this, that your job, your role, how many of you have kids or have some connection to kids, right? You know what your number one job is to tell them what to do, because if you don't, they'll only do what they want to do.
That's true.
I mean, seriously, your job is to tell them what to do because they will only do what they want to do. So if I never tell Isaac what to do, guess what he'll do? He'll just sit on the couch. He'll just sit there. Is that fair, Dylan?
Yeah.
I mean, he'll just sit there. And he's like a great, Josh was like a great baseball player, blah, 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 all these great talents. And you know what he'd do? He'd sit on the couch and play video games all day. Because my job is to tell him what to do. The problem that happens is that we become adults, and guess what? There's no one telling us what to do. And then, just like I heard today, is that I had a coaching session this week. Well, it was only yesterday, right? Barbara, wasn't that right? Today, yesterday, Monday? So I only had one day. So people try to narrow it down. And they'll say things like, he talked to me like I was a child. Me. Well, yeah, because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so someone stepped forward and said, hey, I have two beliefs. So I always tell Isaac, I will either do one of two things. I will either break you or make you, but there will be no in between. So I don't care. Leave the company. Because what I know is that you'll leave the company because someone confronted you on your complacency, on your settling, on your unwillingness to actually operate a life that actually you controlled your future. Because you were pissed like a teenager because someone told you what to do. Now, in fairness, I don't think you have to listen to everybody, but I think you need to pick at least, what I always believe is you have to at least pick 3 people that you say, you know what, pretty much whatever they tell me to do, I'm going to do. I have my 3. They are Mike Ferry, they are Dave Colmar, and they are, I'm missing one, Mike Ferry, Dave Colmar, and I may have a few others. My gosh, why am I like spacing off here?
Jennifer Morris.
Yeah, no. If she was here, I'd say yes. But not when she's here. Hell no.
This
gosh.
is being recorded.
Come on, huh?
John Syatt.
No.
Is it a dead guy?
But to John's credit, here's a good example. Just like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, he said, look, just because I'm your partner, just because I'm one of your best friends, no matter what you tell me in business, just want you to know, guess what he said to me? I will do it. I thought it was interesting. Here he is, turning 50 this year, and he's saying, whatever you tell me to do, I want you to know I'm going to do it. So I thought, man, that's a pretty profound statement for a guy of his age and with a contemporary like me. But he's saying, hey, you know what? You're one of the 3 people. Why can I not forget? It's not you, Rob, either. You're not one of the 3.
You said it yesterday, and now I can't remember what the thing was either.
How can I forget about my most important mentors?
What's going on, George? It's the age.
You're having a senior moment.
I am having a senior moment.
It'll come to you. Tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, this is going to kill me.
Is it in your book?
Like other people come to mind, like Les and others who have had a profound impact, or Ellis Ivory and others who have had a profound impact on me. But anyway,
You've said so many, I can't remember.
I mean, there's a good list of them, right? Huh? No,
It's not Tony
Robert
Roberts, is it?
Fillmore?
no, I haven't talked to him for a long, long time. So, but my point is, at least listen to 2 people, because I know that's what I do, right? But I'm going to listen to people. My general rules. Here's my general rule. You ready? Here's the general rule, Jeff. Here's what I always love. People who make less money, who are they're in worse health, they're in worst economic conditions, and it's evident that their relationships, let's just be so blunt to say they suck. And then someone comes along who makes more money, who's in better health, and actually you can say, well, they must have a little bit of the relationship part figured out, and then they go, yeah, I'm not going to listen to what you have to say. I find that fascinating. Now look, they may not have all three in line, so how about this? If someone's talking about health who has better health than you, listen. And number two, if they're making more money, general rule of thumb, like that was my guiding principle from Mike. Do not listen to people who make less money than you, economically. I mean, it's just fascinating for me to, it's like, this is my belief when I look at, how many of you golf? Anybody golfing here? Anybody been to a driving range? Anybody been to Top Golf?
Yes.
Like, you want to like go to Top Golf and like look at the worst golfers on the human planet? That's what you do. Okay? But my favorite thing is this. The horrible, pathetic, worst golfer on the planet telling the other golfer like things like this. Keep your head still. Don't sway off the ball. You know, I mean, all these, I'm thinking to myself, it would be like, it's like this. It's like a poor person telling another person who's poor how to make money. Or a fat person telling another person how to get thin. I mean, it may seem like, well, that's rude. No, it's not rude. Because you have to pick really carefully who you're going to pay attention to. Because if you listen to too many people like this nonsense, do not believe this stupid statement. This statement. Well, you have something to learn from everybody. That is ridiculous. The only thing is, for like half the people in this world are a voice of warning. Don't do this. I mean, if you want to take it from that standpoint, but you don't choose to listen to everybody. If you are listening, here's a good example. If you're listening to Brian Buffini, Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, you know, every other known mankind speaker who says they're the one, I am telling you, you're going to get confused. Stop doing those types of things. Pick one. Like Mike will say, hey, I'd like to apply for the job of being your guy. Instead of like, what'll happen is you guys will listen to 20 people and go, well, I've gotten something from everybody. And then what happens is you get confused. Again, rule of thumb, if you're talking money, do stop listening to people who make less than you do. It's a simple statement. It's an easy observation. Stop listening to people who are not in good shape and giving you advice regarding their health. And stop listening to people who either are screwing any of these areas up, and you start listening to them as to how to like raise your children, and then you're watching all of their children sideways. Doesn't make any sense. Right? Or those that you see abusing themselves and have a horrible relationship with themselves, and it's easily seen by the way that they treat themselves physically. And so you ask yourself the question, well, hey, tell me about your inner dialogue and how you're working in there. Crazy? I want to know what's going on in there. They're beating the crap out of themselves. So I just would challenge you that pick very wisely who you're going to listen to. Typically more than 2 or 3 people is a mistake, because you, frankly, you don't need more than that. But secondarily is you'll get confused, and you won't know who to listen to, and you'll be asking, well, who's right? Just pick your pony and write it in so many words. In closing, just want to go back to this. Look, you got to refine your life in any and every area. Progress equals happiness. So when you start looking at your life and moving through it, just take a step back and realize that the fire of prospecting is your brain all of a sudden going, I got to do something different. I got to return this call. I got to check that voicemail. I got to do these texts. I've really got to go to the bathroom. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to get a drink. Oh, I need a cup of coffee. I got to get a Red Bull. All of these things are just noise, distractions to get you out of the fire. You're lifting weights and all you can think about is how painful, how painful, how painful. You gotta stop, how painful. And so many of us will focus on all of the pain. Instead, what those who seem to figure out this, not opening up the AC, turning down the temperature, they choose to focus on the benefit. Beat 2 E's? Something like that? 1, right? That's 1. All right. The benefits. You don't even know how to spell it, Jeff, to get them. All right?
We get you.
Okay? telling you, man, I watch people every day. They have success. They start driving their life with success. And then what begins to happen is they then turn on the AC and screw it all up. Some of you have moments of greatness in your relationships, and then you come home like an absolute psycho and like just throw crap into the relationship just so you have something to fight about. We do it. Like things are going great. Oh, better screw this up. Like we'll just do stuff. Health's going great. My sister's a great example. Lost 100 pounds. She's on track. And she says, 100 pounds. Wow. Like no weird stuff. Just diet, exercise, doing it. You know what she says, Rob? Becky says, about 2 months ago, I need to take a break. Yes, just got it. You know how many pounds she's up now?
50.
30. It's fascinating, isn't it? Because she could not take the fire, the heat, the inferno. She had to take the vent and go, whoa. That's a pretty extreme example. And it's a harsh reality that we all will put on the vent, we'll turn on the AC, we'll lower the temperature because we're like, man, it's too hot in here. And we'll do that when the pain is so great, when we're like, I can't mentally prospect. So we turn to alcohol, pornography, drugs, all this nonsense that like destroys our lives and it takes us and is a vent to the fire that will refine us. And again, it doesn't take any of these areas. You know which one you're venting on. You know which one you escape to. You know which one when you take that deep breath and go in that nice big bite of chocolate or that donut or that pastry and go, oh man, today was a hard day. I'm just telling you, it's just a vent. It's just the heat is so hot you can't handle it. And you say, I better turn on the air conditioner. And here, you may say, well, wait, are you saying you never do that? Hello? The reason I'm talking about it is because I do it.
There's a donut on his
yeah. Because I say things like, I'm so busy. I don't have time for my health. Like when I say and make fun of things like that, just so you know, that's me talking to me. And I know that you do it. Well, I don't have time to prospect. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to, write the thank you card. Tell them I love them. I'm in a hurry. I'm just telling you. You'll stay in the fire. You will watch your life in every area of it refined. And it will seem like miraculous or miracles will occur. And it isn't that miraculous. It's just that you stayed in the fire. You stayed and embraced the heat. And I will tell you what Everest taught me, of all the things it has taught me, it is how to stay in the fire. You may ask, like, how did you build the company at its worst moments when everything around me was crumbling? It was the one area, and it was so excruciating internally. Just like every part of me crumbling, it felt like inside. And some of you saw it firsthand. Right? I was so hard that I watched my health even just disintegrate. Right? I mean, heart issues, knee issues, eye issues, staph infections almost killed me. Choking to death almost. All of it. Just to somehow give me a reason to get out of the fire. To say, oh. And then here's what's crazy. Everyone would have said this, guys, if I would have gotten out of the fire. I don't blame you. Oh man, it was a tough market. I can't believe you were even in it. And that's what would have happened. You see, the thing that's interesting, when you're in the fire, you are such good salespeople, you can sell yourself and others on why you had to step out. And so like when my sister goes, Greg, like, hey, I needed a break, everyone's like, oh, I get it. You've done so great. I mean, you've still lost 70 pounds. You're doing great. I'm just telling you that she just wanted to get out of the fire. And arguably, I don't blame her. But at the same time, I recognize that there's a whole other world in life that you guys get to live if you will stay inside the fire. and you'll allow yourself to purge and to purify parts of your life. Yeah, purify. Yes, you can apply that to spiritual, but you can apply it to every part of this business. Purifying your business, purifying your health, purifying your relationships, getting all the toxins out so that you can live the extraordinary life you're built to live. Because there's not one of you that can't have it. So that's pretty much the summit, so you don't know. You can hear Ash. You can hear Kenzie speak. And then Sean and Greg, and then I got to roll. I got to get out of here. One of you. I know you're raising your hands.
Go ahead, Sean.
I was just,
That's very much
yeah, what kind of triggers do you put in place to keep yourself there?
I just acknowledge it. Like things like this suck so bad.
Recognition?
I used to get just acknowledgement, just a consciousness of it, just a holy crap, this is horrible. And then I got into like I could do anything, like you guys heard me talk about. What I realized is the connection to this. I could see myself. I can do anything for 90 days, 30 days, a week, then a day. Then I got to the point, holy crap, I can't even see past like 3 hours. And for some reason it stopped when I got past 3 hours. That I could see at least 3 hours ahead of me to stay in the fire. And I would say to myself, just 3 hours. 3 hours, stay the course. And don't get out of the fire. Right? It's like when you say, I'm going to do 30 minutes of cardio, and you go, well, I'm good at 20. I'm just telling you stuff that I do. Today I did 21 minutes because it's kind of like, I have this thing, 7 minutes on each machine and 21 minutes. And I found myself these last few weeks, Sean, doing 15 minutes, 5. Why? I don't have 6 minutes. 6? Because I want to get out of the fire. So I think a lot of it is just like, where are you trying to vent? Where are you getting out of the fire? Let's be honest with yourself. No one can do it. I mean, yeah, I could come in and attack you on it, or I can see obvious things when you're not prospecting, or obvious things when you're not showing up. But there's other areas where we all are venting ourselves out of the game of relationships, our health, and our business / money. So I think, again, it's just consciousness that we become aware of.
How do you decide what you read?
How do I decide what I read?
Your mentors do that for you, or?
No, I'm kind of, for me, that's a real spiritual thing. The general statement is I actually believe, like I feel energy from different books and like what I'm supposed to read. Like everyone's into this real David Goggins book, like How to Be a Warrior. Let me tell you something, I know how to be a warrior and kick ass. I am like, got that down. Like come into my office, Greg, on one day and I'll show you how to like, just like, I can do all of that. I can prospect for hours. I can recruit for hours. I can work 90-hour weeks and not even miss a beat. Ask me to be loving, kind, and a lover, well, that's a whole different conversation. So for me, I have no interest in turning out, figuring out how to be another warrior. I got that. And I could probably learn more, but not as much as I need to learn how to be this other side. So for me, I'm really listening to my inner core of who I need to become to be the full spectrum that you've seen me talk about with leadership and who I need to be, for me. So I pay really close attention to the energy of a book, for me. And it doesn't mean I won't listen to David Goggins' book, because I will. But some of you need to learn how to be a warrior in this business.
But do you talk to your mentors about what you're reading?
Nowadays, rarely. Used to all the time.
Yeah, I can't see Mike really getting into that.
I used to. Not I mean, for now, today I don't. But there was a day I did. Like I'd go to them and say, what do you think I should read? They'd be like, oh, read that. And then, that was really important to me. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good question.
How do you choose a mentor?
It's a good question, and I gotta go. It's a great question. Maybe Rick can answer that for you, but this is what I would tell you, Barbara. Wherever you are weak, look for someone who is strong. And don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Some of you will go, well, he got divorced, so I'm not going to follow him on how to make money. What? What does making money and them being divorced have anything? Now, if you're saying, I want to know how to like have this fulfilling relationship, committed to my partner, and I want to live with this person for the rest of my life, well, maybe that might not be the person you choose to go with. Might. but I'm always interested is whatever area of my life that I'm looking to master, I'm going to choose someone who has mastered that area of life. Here's a good example. I do not go to Mike Ferry for marriage advice. He's been married 5 times. But I sure as hell go to him how to be a multimillionaire.
Right.
I don't go to him for health advice because he's got this thing sitting out here. I just don't. But I go to people like, because he's basically a health coach today. I'm just kidding. Like John Syatt. Whenever I need help, anybody seen his stuff on Instagram or Facebook? He might be someone I might want to ask. Because he has like an 8-pack. I have like a 1-pack. He might be someone I talk about. So I'm looking for whoever has like dialed that part of their life in, and I don't throw them all out because all of a sudden they're this, so they can't be good at that. Well, that's ridiculous. So my deal is, if I'm picking my 2 or 3 people, I'm going to take an area of their life that I'm like, man, have they mastered that? I answered that, but you can add to it. I'm out of here. Hey guys.
All
Peace.
right. All right, closing affirmation. I succeed because I have my goals. I am an optimist. I like talking to new people. I know what's important to me. I remember people's names. I have a game plan and I follow it. I am passionate about real estate. I know consistency is my greatest tool. I like asking questions and listening. I enjoy reading to improve my sales skills. My thoughts lead my emotions, actions, results. I focus on my duties daily. My presentation is powerful, persuasive. I improve my skills daily. I am happy. I love the prospect because it feeds my business. I see my future is awesome. I love my life. I'm grateful and thankful. I control my future. I believe in me. I'm still outstanding. I use my beliefs and authenticity daily. I get things done. I provide excellent customer service. I drink water daily. I connect with people. People love me. I love others. I'm disciplined and accountable for my daily schedule. I prospect daily. I set appointments daily. I'm a master persuader. I achieve my goals. I'm a real estate rock star. I'm passionate about my life. I'm in every day with purpose. I'm confident in myself skills. I know my destiny. I'm healthy and strong. I'm powerful. I'm stoppable. I keep following, exciting, fun, productive, satisfying at all times. Yes!